The ancient smoke trick Native Americans used to keep meat fresh for months without ice. The old world didn't fear winter the way we do today. They didn't panic when the cold crept in or when the animals disappeared into the woods. They had something better than electricity or freezers. They had a method so dependable that entire nations survived on it for centuries. And the wild part is that this same trick outperformed anything a modern cooler can do. If your power went out right now, this technique could keep you fed longer than anything you could buy at the store. Let's break down the Native American smoke preservation method, a survival strategy so tough and so legendary that soldiers in World War II were still trying to recreate its reliability. No ice, no chemicals, just smoke, heat control, and a level of patience that shaped entire cultures. The genius behind this method was simple. Remove what spoils the meat, drive out what bacteria need, and replace it with something they can't handle. Smoke wasn't just flavour, it was a warrior's shield around the food itself. And the way they built that shield was almost surgical. The heart of the process was drying. Not the quick flame blast you see on campfire TV cooking, but a slow, steady release of moisture. It started by slicing the meat thin, so every strip had enough surface area to dry evenly. Thick pieces trap moisture and rot from the inside. Thin strips surrender their water and harden into long-lasting protein banks. This was chemistry done with a stone knife. Once the meat was sliced, it wasn't tossed over an open flame. Flames were the enemy because flames cook, and cooking traps moisture. What they wanted was heat without fire, warmth without burning. So they built low, controlled smoke beds. Usually small pits, sometimes raised racks, always protected from wind. The goal was not to cook the meat, but to let warm smoke drift around it for hours or days. That slow smoke acted like a preservation fog. The magic came from two things. First, the gentle heat kept moisture escaping. Second, the smoke carried natural compounds that stopped bacteria from developing. Think of it like sealing each strip with an invisible armour made of nature's own preservatives, phenols, aldehydes, acids. They didn't know the scientific names, but they saw the results. Meat that didn't rot. Meat that survived the journey. Meat that stayed edible through winter storms, hunting shortages and migrations, measured not in miles, but in seasons. There was a rhythm to the system. Too much heat, and, well, the meat cooked instead of dried. Too little, and bacteria had time to grow. The people who mastered this weren't just hunters. They were technicians of fire, airflow, and timing. Different woods gave different smoke. Hardwoods were prized because they burned steady and clean. Softwoods gave bitter smoke that ruined the flavour. They learned this through generations of trial, error, and honestly, absolute reliance on nature's report card. The process didn't end with smoking. Once the meat dried to the point where bending it felt more like bending wood, it could last months. In emergency conditions, even longer. Many tribes crushed the dried meat and mixed it with rendered fat and berries to form a high-calorie food that explorers, traders, and even World War II sled teams later depended on. But the pure smoked version was the backbone of long-range survival. This method worked because it attacked the problem from every angle. Moisture feeds bacteria, so they remove moisture. Oxygen helps growth, so the outer layer hardened into a natural barrier. Smoke chemicals slow decomposition, and low heat blocks insects and mold. 4 layers of protection built using nothing but fire, wood, and patience. There's a major lesson here for modern survivalists. A freezer is a luxury, ice is temporary, electric grids collapse, but fire and smoke, those are constant. Anyone can master this process with a little practice. That's why this trick deserves a place not just in books, but in hands-on survival knowledge that people can still use today. To recreate this technique, you don't need massive equipment. A small pit works. A raised rack made from sticks works. Even a metal grate placed over a low fire works if you monitor it carefully. The key is distance from the flame. Keep the strips far enough that they dry without cooking. Aim for warm smoke and a steady breeze. If the meat starts dripping fat, you are too close to heat. If it stays soft after hours, your smoke isn't consistent enough. Once it dries fully, it becomes nearly indestructible. This wasn't guesswork for the old world. This was survival engineering. They needed food that could travel across plains, deserts and forests. They needed protein that wouldn't spoil under a hot sun. They needed something warriors could carry for days and scouts could rely on when game vanished. Smoke solved all of it. The endurance of smoked meat impressed outsiders for centuries. Early settlers tried to copy it, but they rarely matched the consistency. Military explorers adopted parts of it, but they rushed the drying and, lost entire batches. Even during World War II, when troops studied old survival methods for operations in remote areas, this technique was still considered one of the most reliable ways to preserve food without ice. That tells you something. Technology changed, but the rules of spoilage didn't. And the method that worked hundreds of years earlier still held its ground. Today, most people think of smoked meat as a hobby or a flavor choice. But this technique wasn't about flavor, it was about life. It kept communities strong during harsh winters. It allowed travel across uncharted land. It reduced dependence on luck and weather. It was freedom in the form of food security. And here's what makes it powerful for modern times. Anyone can do it. Anyone can learn it. You don't need the perfect wood or the perfect temperature gauge. You just need to understand the core idea. Low heat, slow smoke, dry to the center. Protect with the natural chemical shield the smoke provides. If you keep those steps steady, this method will outlast any blackout or supply chain failure you ever face. For a channel like Legacy of Survival, these old techniques matter because they're not museum pieces. They're tools, real tools. Tools you can still use. And learning them puts you closer to the people who built entire lives using nothing but the skills in their hands. Smoke preservation wasn't just survival. It was strategy. It was confidence. It was independence. So next time you see smoke rising from a campfire, think about the people who perfected this long before electricity existed. Think about how effective their methods were, if modern science still validates them. And think about how far a simple trick like this can carry you in a world where so much depends on power and machines. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more ancient techniques that still work today, Make sure you subscribe to Legacy of Survival and share this video with someone who might need it. The old world still has a lot to teach us, and we're just getting started.